Okay. Moving on. We got Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, Gary Oldman, and Chris Tucker, Ian Holm, Mila Jovovich. So, yeah, this is one I've heard about for a long time, never watched. Bought this Blu-ray on a whim from Walmart, and never watched it until now for this year review cities. So, this movie very, very complicated. So, listen very closely. I don't even know if I got 100% right. So, there is this alien giant ball thingy in space, and these big turtle-like aliens come to Earth back in the 1910s or something, and they tell Luke Perry and this other guy that the big ball thing will come in 300 years. So, he says that they need the 4 stones, one for each element: earth, water, fire, and air. Earth, water, fire, and air. That's earth, wind, fire. Earth, water, fire, and air. And then they need the 5th element to combine with these to save the world. But their time runs out or something, and they have this little thing to give it to a priest. It's going to lead a long line of priests in the future. The future. 300 years later, Bruce Willis is a cab driver in a flying cab. When a mysterious woman lands in his cab, this woman is actually cloned. Apparently, these turtle aliens were on their way back to Earth, and they got exploded, and then only a hand of the 5th element was left. So they cloned her, and it's a naked Mila Jovovich. Even though this movie is PG-13, they do show some nudity. I mean, you can see some titty in there if you pay close attention. Like, she's laying on a thing, you can see her until they cover her up, and then later, when she's changed her clothes, you can quickly see some titty. It's quick nudity, but you can see some titty. Alright. Turns out that Lilo, who was Mila Jovovich's character, she's the 5th element. So, yeah. So, take her to Ian Holm in the Shire, right? They take her to Bilbo Baggins in the Shire, right? And he's like, oh, yes, we don't need you, Bruce Willis. I love Die Hard, go away. And then, he decides, hey, there's him and this other dude with a bowl cut, right? They're gonna take her, to the place, where it is, and then there's the government president, El Presidente Zeus, says, you're gonna find a way to get her where she gotta go, or something like that, right? And it's gonna be the weirdest you ever did. So Brian James, the guy from the horror show whose head was a turkey, right? He was like a chicken or something. And he's like, oh, I know a guy. And so then Bruce Willis wins like a trip to the moon or whatever it is. He wins a trip to this place because they gotta get to the blue diva alien chick, because that's where she that's where the 4 stones are, right? So they pose as a husband and wife to get on the plane, and there's this really weird thing where, like, this guy keeps turning into different people to pretend to be him, but it's not him. And then, like, Ian Holmes shows up and said, oh, we don't need you. But he comes in there because they want to use the guy with the bowl cut. And he says, no, I'm the real dude. And so they go on there. And Chris Tucker's there. He's like, hey, man, come to eat with me, man. Because we got to eat, man. Come on, man. And I'm wearing a dress, man. And then, like, so that... I'm just kind of winging through this. So from this point on, Chris Tucker was like part of the film. And some people find him annoying, but I love Chris Tucker, so I just enjoy it. You know what I mean? But yeah. So they get to where they go and they meet the diva lady. She gets shot, but she has the stones like up her ass or something. I don't know. And Yeah, and so, Ian Holm, Bilbo Baggins, he's there too, sort of, and Gary Oldman's like, spiders, and he moving into spiders. No, that's the wrong movie. He's like, I swear I'm not on anything. He wants for the bad guys to win, so he's a bad guy too. But during all this, Mila Jovovich, she sees the worst in humanity, and by the end of this film, she doesn't think it deserves to be saved. But then Bruce Willis says, I love you, and she's like, okay, and then does the thing, basically, and then it ends with them, President Zeus is like, oh, I wanna thank them, and so the guy looks and thinking, they're having sex in there, so they can't, do anything, but, yeah, that's basically the walkthrough. Okay, now that I'm done telling you the walkthrough of the movie, special effects. This was done in 1997, and for the most part, they look pretty good. There are some points where you can see it's CGI or something like that, but for the most part, pretty good. The acting, for the most part, I did notice. Chris Tucker is insane. Mila Jovovich has to do this weird dialect, which I guess her and Luc Besson, who would later be her husband, they worked on together. Her first husband, I guess. Writing the letters in the dialect. I don't know how you translate the writing, but I don't know. But, yeah. Gary Oldman is fantastic, of course, as the villain. Ian Holm, does a pretty good job. Mr. Bilbo Baggins himself. Bruce Willis seems like he's playing John McClane in space. That's what it seems like. It's like it's Die Hard. Like, this could be Die Hard of the future. And, that's what it seems like. There's this running gag where his mother keeps calling. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But, yeah, there's a running gag with that. Brian James, and they said you know him from like Blade Runner, and he's in the horror show, House Street, the horror show. He would sadly pass away 2 years after this. So, yeah, but there's great special effects. Those turtle aliens look really weird. Like when it first happened, and they go back to like the old Egyptian times, and you got this priest, and you got Luke Perry, and these turtle aliens. Like, what are those supposed to be? They're not one of the best effects in the movie, but what are they supposed to be? And you got the blue lady, the diva, her. She's all right. Chris Tucker's in this. I guess Chris Tucker wasn't happy with his wardrobe. Well, he wears dresses throughout most of the film, so yeah, I wouldn't either. I've heard complaints about this movie, and that at the end, when Bruce Willis tells, when he tells Lilo that he loves her, it feels forced. I can't disagree, but they do kind of tell it earlier, like he's talking to someone on the phone or whatever, and he's talking about, oh, I met someone and something like that, and I'm gonna be married to her. But it does seem kind of quick that she basically fell into his lap, and I don't know. Maybe a little forced. Love saves the. Yeah, I guess love saves the universe. Love saves the world type thing. Yeah. Love, what make the world go around? I don't know. Maybe it's a little cliche, love saves the world type thing. You gotta remember, though, this director is French. And the opera scene should tell you that. The opera scene, I'm just sitting there going, what? Huh? What is this? It's just an opera type thing, but I don't know. It's not bad. It's different. There's a point in this film where when Bilbo catches up with him, he like knocks out. He's like, forgive me, he knocks Bruce Willis out, but then Bruce Willis wakes up, he opens this thing, and he finds Brian James frozen. I thought he was dead. But then, like, later, he's alive. So, I don't know what that was supposed to be. But, for 1997, this looks really good, especially in HD. Movies from that time, when you put them into HD, they don't always look the best. Case in point, I mean, this is the 80s, but, like, Clash of the Titans was 81, but, like, Spawn came out the same year, 97, and its CGI looks terrible. I wonder what the budget for this was, because I'm pretty sure it was more than Spawn. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I have to say it's pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on the fifth element? Let me know in the comments below. Shows. Alright. Next is the DVD. So, we got 2 left here for DVD. The Guyver. This is what I wanted to get. So, I'm lucky I did. So, The Guyver is the next one. Good. So, yeah, so, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.